W and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and we start tonight with a First Alert 7 exclusive story. At the beginning of this month, Odessans voted for a new mayor into office. Jay Hendricks sat down with Mayor-elect Cal Hendrick to talk about what all Odessans can expect from his 4 years in office.
You ready to hit the ground?
So I feel like I've already hit the ground. But yes, I think I'm both excited and a little scared. Scared from the perspective of there's a lot to get done. There's a lot to do. I think I think I'm ready for the challenge. But if anyone doesn't think there's not a lot to solve, a lot of problems to solve, then you're probably not paying enough attention, because there's a lot of issues going on right now, and we need to take the city in a better path. You know, we're going to start with finding an interim city manager. We've been neglectful, I believe, in picking up trash. If you haven't put up, the reason I know this is I put up 150 signs. So I don't know if you saw any of them, but I put up a lot of signs. Everywhere I put up signs, I picked up trash, and I was disgusted by the beer bottles, Coke cans, paper towels or paper goods, let's say, and my one pet peeve was plastic bags. I hate that people either accidentally or on purpose throw bags down, because they blow to the first mesquite tree, they get caught, and they get shredded, and it stays in the tree probably for 100 years. I'm probably exaggerating, but my point is, it is so noticeable, and there's so many empty lots in Odessa, and it breaks my heart that people have come into town and tell me our town is trashy. And so what do we do about that? Well, we have to fix it. Now, I have some ideas, I have some plans, but it's going to take everyone pitching in to pick up trash, to quit littering, and then beautify those areas.
You mentioned trash. What about trash trucks? There's a lot of them stacked up and they still need to be repaired.
So I think I've done an investigation the best I can. You'll find it's pretty hard as an outsider to get a lot of information from people. One thing I've learned is part of it was operations. I don't think we're doing as good a job as we should on the operations side of doing pre-trip and post-trip inspections, making sure we grease everything, making sure hydraulic fluid. So we need a little more buy-in to our people on the operations side on maintenance, maintaining those vehicles.
Have you had a chance to talk with the other council members?
So I had lunch with Craig and Eddie, and funny enough, Steven showed up. Just funny enough, we all had sandwiches together just to say, look, let's all get on the same page in terms of there's not going to be a squad. For that, I mean, we're not going to have some voting block. I want you to do you do what's best for District 1. Steve, you do what's best for District 2. I'm going to do what's best for the city. I want Craig to do what's best for the city. And so if you disagree, let's talk about it. Express your opinions, the whys, but let's don't be disagreeable. We can argue. We can discuss and not get emotional about it. It's just a logical conversation as to why this is best. And if I agree with you, I'll support you. If I don't, I'm just going to tell you I don't, and here's why. And so let's take a new path. And so that's what that meeting was about. I'm friends with, funny enough, Gilbert Vasquez was both my senior principal and my assistant baseball coach. So I've known Gilbert for, I hate to tell you how long, since 1982, for example. And I think I've talked to him on the phone just saying, hey, I look forward to working with you. I haven't reached out yet, only because of lack of time to Chris and Greg, but I'd like to talk to them as well, and just to say, look, I look forward to working with you. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm always going to do what's best for Odessa. I want you to do the same. What's best for your district and the greater Odessa, and we may not agree, but when we don't, let's just find out why and solve the problem, right? And it's okay to have a 4-3 vote. It's okay to have a 5-2 vote. As long as you do what you think is best, I'm okay with it.
Sure. What do you take over?
So I think we have decided among the group that you have to wait till the votes are canvassed, the election's been canvassed. Okay. And so that'll happen on 3 o'clock on the 19th. And I believe we've agreed now that we're probably going to do the oath of sworn in ceremony on the 19th at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Perhaps, because there's 4 of us being sworn in, maybe move to a bigger venue, maybe the convention center down at the Marriott, because that's a city-owned property, and it's a big property, and it will also go to demonstrate to the people that we believe a strong downtown good for the people. It's good for Odessa. I think anytime you've seen a city like Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, San Angelo, Midland, build a downtown presence, build green spaces, provide restaurants and music venues. It excites people and it gives people things to do, reasons to stay in town and frankly, enjoy themselves and spend money increasing tax base for everyone. So we hope to make downtown a focus of our new council, that we believe it's a strong and vibrant downtown is good for Odessa.
Mayor-elect Cal Hendrick, as well as Councilman Craig Stoker, Eddie Mitchell, and Steve Thompson will be sworn in at the Ector County Theater tomorrow at 4. You can watch that live on First Alert 7 News at 4, as well as tune in for Isabella Garriga's recap of the swearing in on First Alert 7 News at 10. Speaking of swearing in, Midland ISD officially welcomed the district's newly elected board members. You'll remember a few weeks ago, Midland citizens voted on 4 positions. In District 1, Michael Booker won the election. District 2 was Angel Hernandez. In District 7, incumbent Brian Murray was defeated by Joshua Gwynn. And then District 4, Matt Freeze won. The district also took some time during the ceremony to thank the outgoing members. More information about the newly elected board members can be found up on our website, firstalert7.com. And heavy rains last night caused major flooding throughout the Permian Basin and even led to road closures in Midland. According to the city, the underpass at 191 and Loop 250 was completely flooded. It opened up around mid-afternoon, but not before it impacted people's morning commutes. I'm joined now with meteorologist Sawyer McElroy. Sawyer, are we going to see any more rain this week?
Well, the good news is that we are going to see dry conditions as we head throughout the next 10 days. So if you are planning on heading anywhere for the holidays, looking pretty good, at least across the Midland Odessa area. Temperatures currently at the present time are on the cooler side, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s across the state. We're kind of seeing those cooler temperatures courtesy of that cold front that brought all of that rain to the area yesterday. Temperatures across our region sitting in the 40s and 50s. Winds are still elevated, anywhere from about 5 to 25 miles per hour. Strongest winds currently in the Carlsbad region, and we are seeing some gusts as well, with gusts anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour across portions of the area. Clear skies and quiet conditions though out there for our Monday night as we head through tonight and into our Tuesday. Looking to be a little bit chilly as we start off our Tuesday morning. Overall though, for our temperature trend, a little bit warmer coming up Tuesday. Cold front tomorrow will cool things down for Wednesday, back to below normal. But overall, as we head throughout the majority of the extended forecast, we are looking to see above average temperatures for this time of year.
Thank you, Sawyer. I've got a traffic alert for you now. TxDOT says the new eastbound I-20 on-ramp between Loop 250 and Midketh will temporarily be closed. That started today. They say that drainage features are being installed in the area. That ramp will reopen Friday, November 22nd at 3 o'clock. Now, when the new ramp reopens on Friday, the old eastbound on-ramp just east of Loop 250 will close permanently. And new traffic lights went live this morning on 2 different busy Midland intersections. Mayor Lori Blong and Councilman Scott Dufford were there to flip the switch and activate the new lights. These new lights are located at the southeast side of the city at Lamesa Road and Gist, and the other side, northeast side of Mockingbird and Stonebridge. The new lights were installed in an effort to keep up the growing traffic demands at these intersections.
We recognize there's been significant growth in traffic in this area and additional homes and other residential areas, and so we're excited to provide a safer intersection.
We're just proud that we were able to flip the switch, and what we're trying to do as a city, we're trying to keep up with the unprecedented growth that we're seeing as a result of the growth in our oil patch.
Now, according to the city, additional traffic lights are going to be installed at Deauville and Avalon, as well as Briarwood and Avalon. In your travel headlines, the city of Midland is reporting a 7.62% increase in passengers in October at Midland International Air and Spaceport. The 67,381 passengers topped the 62,609 that we had in October of 2023. Now, out of those passengers, 44.5% of them, flew Southwest. The city also announced that in October, MAF earned $755,999 in parking revenue. Turning to some education news now, last week UT Permian Basin announced that over the next few weeks, they'll be offering direct admission to nearly 900 ECISD students. Today, those students got to visit New Tech High School to give packets to qualified seniors. In order to be qualified, students must have earned a 2.75 grade point average and be enrolled at one of the schools that partners with UTPB. This direct admissions program provides qualified seniors and automatic admission to UTPB as the start of their journey to college. This was first rolled out last spring, and the pathway makes college more accessible for everyone.
We were up 4.4% in our freshman enrollment for this fall because we are cultivating a college-going culture, and we are making true impact in the Permian Basin to really provide a quality workforce.
Now, this UTPB admissions team will be visiting Odessa High School on Wednesday, and then they'll see the STEM Academy on Thursday. Schools in the Permian Basin are hosting food drives to help the West Texas Food Bank fill their shelves for the holiday season. For most families, the holidays are all about preparing for multiple giant feasts. But for some members of our community, that meal isn't exactly a guarantee.
We've all kind of noticed like the increase in the prices of groceries and stuff. So being able to support not only our kids, but our community and supplying them with foods to meet their needs is just really gratifying for us.
Idea Yukon will be accepting food and monetary donations from the public until Friday, that's November 22nd, and on Monday, November 25th, Idea Yukon 9th graders will be helping deliver all of these donations to the West Texas Food Bank. Speaking of the West Texas Food Bank, if you missed out on these school drives, don't worry, you can donate to them all year long. Coming up, it's a story all new here at 9 o'clock. When we come back, we'll tell you about one Monaghan school district policy that's being challenged. This evening in Monahans, the school district had their hair and grooming policy challenged. It comes after one mom was finally able to present a level 3 grievance to the school board. That was after the district told her son that he had to change his natural hairstyle despite it being protected in the state of Texas under the Crown Act. Shayla Barnes, whose son is a senior, argued that the handbook's rules are outdated and they do not comply with Texas state law.
This year, we have had more backlash of him not complying with the hair and grooming policy, which as of September 1st, 2023, the Crown Act was set in place, which protects him to be able to wear his natural hairstyle. These rules and policies that are in the handbook are grandfathered in. They were established when my great-grand-aunt went to school, let's say 60 years ago. It's 2024. There's time for change. Now, the board was not required to take any action during tonight's meeting.
At 10, First Alert 7's Isabella Garriga will have more on this story.
It was a little bit of a blustery day across the region as we started off the work week, but we do have pleasant weather on the way for our Tuesday. I'll have all the details on what to expect coming up in just a bit.
Now from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Good evening and happy Monday, everybody. It was a little bit of a breezy day across the region, courtesy of a cold front that moved through the area yesterday. As that system was clearing out, we saw strong winds. And here's a look at some of those max wind gusts across the region today, ranging anywhere from about 30 miles per hour in the Presidio area to about 50 miles per hour in Carlsbad. Midland and Midland International Air and Spaceport saw gusts up to about 46 miles per hour. Here's a look at those observed highs across the state of Texas. You can kind of see where that front had moved through and had not moved through throughout our Monday. Highs for the western portions of the state, 60s and 70s. Eastern portions of the state, 80s and even 90s. Got up to 92 degrees in Brownsville for today. Highs a little bit closer to home in the 50s, 60s, and a few 70s as well. Here's a look at those current temperatures. We have cooled things down nicely into the 40s and 50s across the area, sitting at 56 in Midland at the present time, 54 here in Odessa. Those winds are still elevated in portions of the region, especially across southeast New Mexico. Winds anywhere from about 5 to 25 miles per hour, and we are seeing some gusts as well, with gusts anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour. Overall, we are seeing clear skies, quiet conditions out there for our Monday night, and those do look to continue as we head through the overnight hours into our Tuesday, where we are expecting lots of sunshine, quiet conditions as well for the second day of the work week. Looking pretty good coming up tomorrow, and we are going to warm things up as well. Winds will still be a little bit elevated, especially before the midnight hour, but then things calming down. Those sustained winds anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows overnight dropping to the 30s and 40s. Then tomorrow for our Tuesday, highs going to be into the 60s and 70s, 67 in Midland and Odessa tomorrow, 67 in Andrews as well, 72 for Pecos and Fort Stockton, 75 for Presidio. And those winds will be a little bit calmer, anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Really not seeing any gusts across the region coming up for our Tuesday. For our First Alert 7 10-day forecast, we do have another cold front on the way tomorrow afternoon and evening. However, that won't bring any precipitation to the region. We'll just knock temperatures down to about 60 degrees coming up for our Wednesday. A little bit chilly Wednesday and Thursday morning, but then we do see a warming trend as we round out the work week and head into the weekend. The good news is, and I mentioned this earlier, if you do have any holiday travel plans, looking pretty good throughout the next 10 days with dry conditions on tap throughout the extended forecast.
Up next here at 9, we're recapping how some of our local teams handled the first round of high school football playoffs. We'll have more after this quick break. In some local sports, the Permian Panthers are preparing for their area round matchup. That's after they beat El Paso Eastlake in the bi-district round on Friday night. In the area finals, Permian takes on the North Crowley Panthers. That's the same team that knocked Mojo out of the playoffs in the same round last season. But head coach Jeff Ellison says his team's ready for the big challenge North Crowley brings, and he wants them to execute for all 4 quarters after seeing a couple of drops in Friday's win.
Yeah, they're a very talented team. They do a great job. They got a couple of good running backs. Quarterback, as we are familiar with from last year, does a great job of throwing and running. They're very talented on the edge as well. Good job up front with the offensive line. Defensively, they do a great job of flying around with the football. So it's our intensity for 4 quarters. I thought we dropped off a little bit in the third, but we got it back. But I just want to see that carry over.
Friday's game will be at Crowley ISD Stadium. That's in Fort Worth on Friday. That kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Speaking of football, the UTPB Falcons finished their regular season on Saturday afternoon with a huge win over Sul Ross State. That final score, you're not ready for this, it was 75-7. Running back Corey Harris ran for over 200 yards with 4 touchdowns. After a rocky season, head coach Chris McCulloch is pleased with the way that his team ended in the final weeks. and he believes it'll help them going forward into playoffs.
These guys have really shaped this program for the future, right? When I took this program over, they'd won 10 games in 2 years. We won 10 games last year, and then obviously 7 up to this date this year. So we've kind of turned around the program. We've changed this program forever, and the seniors get to go out saying they were winners, and hopefully they get to say that their junior and their senior year, those guys that were here, they went to the postseason.
Now, speaking of that postseason, the Falcons will wait to see if they'll play in a bowl game this year. We'll have more details on that later this week. Sticking with the University of Texas Permian Basin, the volleyball season comes to an end for first-year head coach C.J. Allred. He finished his first season under the helm going 16-9 and falling just short of making the Lone Star tournament. Head coach shared his thoughts and emotions earlier today and says he feels his team was robbed of an entry into the postseason.
In the senior class who did not get to enjoy their last locker room together. They were robbed of that opportunity to spend that last moment together knowing that their season was over. And they won't get to realize the gains that were made this year because unfortunately those gains will have to be realized in the future. But those gains were built on the foundation that this senior class set. And I pray that sooner rather than later they can accept that.
And he's upset with good reason. The Lady Falcons finished their season with the same records as 3 other teams that made it to the Lone Star Conference tournament. Still ahead, we're going to take another look at your weather forecast. That'll happen when we come back.
All right, a final check of our forecast before we leave you on this glorious Monday night. We do have a cold front that will make its way through the area coming up tomorrow, but before that front moves through, going to be a little bit warmer than we saw today. Lots of blue sky and sunshine, though. Quiet conditions with that front. Down to about 60 degrees for the middle of the week, but then warming up as we head throughout the end of the work week and into the weekend. If you do have any holiday travel plans, looking pretty good, at least across West Texas and Southeast Mexico. Those temperatures below normal for this time above normal, for this time of year.
They might be above normal, but it's still sweater weather. I'll take it. Anything below 80, it's weather weather.
Not
I'll
77.
Take it.
Not 77.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. We'll see you at 10.